We're going to talk about what is one of the top squat cues you can use to help elevate your performance. Now, on this channel, we've talked about squat, bench, deadlift, all types of exercises, all types of form, technique, etc. But there are some cool little things that you can do with your lifts immediately to help them elevate and to be ready and more prepared than before. So with the squat, a few things you want to understand is that when you get ready for a barbell squat, a lot of it has to do with what's your stance, what's your brace, what about your head placement, do you look down, do you look up, etc. But there's one thing I bet you're not doing right now that can have a huge impact on your squat. So maybe even later today, tomorrow, next week, whenever you squat again, if you perform this cue, it's going to help your lift feel much stronger, much more stable, and much more prepared than before. Let's start off real quick by going back a little bit about stance, posture, etc. with squat. So the ideal squat, you want to unrack the weight, take 2 steps back, get your feet set, look forward, have somewhere to keep your vision so that your spine can stay upright, and then you want to brace through your stomach. Now, when you're getting ready to squat, kind of like I've outlined before, there's a few steps that you want to do, and it can be overwhelming. But the more you squat, the more you've mastered the movement, the less you have to think about all those little steps. Because right now, what I want you to do is to think about something in particular before you squat. And what I want you to do is I want you to grip the floor. So it sounds kind of weird. Usually with grip, we think about our hands, but with our feet, we can actually grip the floor to help have more foot pressure, more flat foot pressure, and for us to feel more stable when we lift. With all types of lifters, there's all types of body types. You got people who have long arms, long legs, long torsos, etc. But we also have athletes that have flat feet or high arched feet. Now there's in between, people who are in between, maybe not as high of an arch. But if you think about people with their foot, okay? So like right here, I have a flat foot. And then imagine if I had a high arch foot. So with a high arch, that means that the lateral part of the foot, so like right here, these are my hands, right? But if I have a high arch, that means the outside of my foot has more foot pressure than the inside. But if I was flat-footed, that means I would have full contact with the floor the whole time of the movement. And some people argue that people who have flat feet might be more athletic because of surface area and how much contact they have with the floor. So me personally, I don't have flat feet. I have high arched feet. So that means the outside of my foot touches the floor more than the inside of my foot. And if I was to make up some percentages just to make this sound a little bit more intense, if you were flat-footed, maybe you have 100% touch with the floor. But if you are high arched, you might only be touching the floor 50 or 60% of your foot, which makes it really hard to be stable and to have the strength to recruit all the muscles that you need properly to squat. Because if you think about it, if you have a high arch and you only have pressure on the outside of your foot, maybe you're working more the outside of the leg than the inside of the leg, okay? There might be some truth, there might not be. But the concern right now is, how do I get my feet to be more stable and to have better surface area and contact with the floor if I have a higher foot? So when I say grip the floor, that means take your toes and you want to grip, okay? You want them to curl up, because here's what's going to happen. If you curl up all your toes, big toe, all the ones down to your pinky toe, what that's going to do is that's going to force your foot to contract harder and to put more pressure onto the floor. So maybe you have an increase in surface area on the floor. So when you squat, you have more stability. It kind of goes back to your other lifts, like the bench press. Is it better to bench on your toes or flat-footed? Some argue one over the other, but I believe if you have more of your foot in contact with the floor, even if you're not flat-footed, that helps with stability to control the movement and to make sure the mechanics are in a good position to be as strong as possible. With all that being said, with your squat right now, one of the top cues I want to challenge you to use is gripping the floor. The idea in this video is the fact that some of us are flat-footed, some of us are not. But if you grip the floor and flex those toes into the floor, that might help you put more foot pressure into the floor for more stability, for more strength, and for better mechanics. Next time you go to squat, think about that. Think about gripping the floor, trying to get more foot contact with the floor. Maybe instead of your toes forward, maybe they're more outward. Whatever it takes to get better foot contact with the floor to have a better squat today. So hopefully you like this little video. If you can, click the subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment. Let's have a conversation. In fact, sometimes the comments are what leads us into our next video. So make sure you leave some information for us. Like I said, subscribe and check us out at powerliftingtechnique.com.